Hello there folks, and how is it going? And welcome back to another video, and welcome back to the absolutely beautiful coastline here in Portugal. Now, we managed to take a little mini adventure away in the car that we borrowed from our friends a few weeks back. If you follow along on Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about, because our new van is still getting built and getting ready for our adventures. So we are just maybe about 15 minutes north of Figueira da Foz, and in today's video we are going to do nothing but photograph abstract motion. And that's ultimately what we came here to try and do today, is to photograph this lovely tide. It's at its high point, and we are going to take advantage of all these lovely rocks down here. And as an added bonus, we are then going to also be using the K and F filters that were sent out to me. This is going to be a bit of a review, not so much of a review, but a look at the filters in relation to how we can use them in photographing what we set out to photograph. So let's get our gear organized and set up, and let's get shooting. So, just to get the business end of things out of the way, folks, K&F did send me this set of magnetic filters. So anybody who's been following the channel for a long time knows that I absolutely love photographing the ocean and seascape photography, and particularly this kind of like abstract-y kind of vibe that we're ultimately looking to create today. Now, the main reason why this kind of like video came to fruition in the way that it did was that they, and it was probably a mistake on my part, when they reached out to me, I think I may have given them the wrong filter size for my 16 to 35. So I've essentially only got a screw-in kind of magnetic adapter for my mid-range zoom and my 100 to 400, which, as we know, is a wonderful focal length to try and zoom in, punch in, and be able to create these nice kind of isolated abstract scenes. So that's ultimately what we're looking to set out and achieve with this now. We are just looking down over here at these rocks. It's so churny. Half of me kind of secretly wishes I was down getting my feet wet, but then the other half of me is absolutely delighted that I'm up here looking down at these waves. So right now we're sat at around f14 at 1/8 of a second. And if you kind of like kind of motion in the water, you kind of want to settle at around half a second or so. So I'm going to adjust, and I'm going to pop on one of the filters here to get to the settings that I am ultimately looking to get to. And we are going to take some pictures, so let's set ourselves up and let's get shooting. So you can see here from the back of the camera the kind of view that we're looking down at. Now by putting on the 3-stop filter, I was able to get the shutter to 1/2 second, which is like a very nice kind of sweet spot. And then I'm down at f9, which is a solid depth of field to make sure everything's nice and sharp and in focus. And I'm down at ISO 100, which is absolutely wonderful. So you can see the kind of turmoil that's happening here on the back of the screen. So I have got my camera now set to mid shooting, continuous shooting. So all I simply do is just find my focus point, which is there, and then I wait for the waves, and then I just start firing off shots. So here's a big wave coming in now, so I'm going to be ready, ready, ready. So, oh my God, look at all that craziness. So the idea behind this kind of imagery is that you want to try and find, now obviously I'm taking lots and lots of photographs now. So look at that one. So the idea is to find one that really, you mainly do all of this, say, on the back of your computer, but you kind of try and capture images like this that have a good sense of that solidness of the rocks, and then of course the wonderful movement in the water, which we are creating then using the filters. Now, I'm not going to get too technical because you know me, folks, I don't necessarily do any of that kind of jazz. We might look at a few images in depth when I'm classically ASMRing, photography labbying, styling it as we do. And I'll talk about maybe color casts, if there are any, and all that kind of jazz. But for now, we are going to just hear, it's a bit dull. I'm hoping the sun, there's a bit of a gap between the cloud and the bank of fog that's on the horizon. So if the sun breaks through and shines a bit of light for us, then we're on for a real nice treat. So we're going to just hang out here, thankfully keep our feet nice and dry, and just continue to explore this realm of abstract motion.
Welcome, friends, to the ASMR Photography Studio, and welcome to the first image in this week's video. Now, as I was rambling on, one of the beautiful things about having filters on the front of your lens is that it enables you to be super creative, particularly when photographing the motion in the water like this. And I absolutely adore this first image. Now, while there was no direct light, we were able to still bring back some of the shadows in the details here in the rocks, and I really, really love it for that reason. There's these rocks just popping out of the water as the motion turns and churns around them. Really, really delighted. Now, in terms of the filters themselves, I was editing these pictures. I didn't really need to do too much color correction. I didn't notice any kind of color casting or anything along those lines. So very, very happy with these results from the first image of the day.
One thing, now look, everybody knows that I have a set of case filters. There's no secret about that, and we've all seen them jumping off the front of my camera into Dublin Bay, which was an awesome experience. So it's going to be difficult for me to not compare and contrast. And one thing that I'm actually going to give this K&F filter set over the case filters is the fact that this is a screw-on magnetic filter. Filter holder that I have for the case filters is that really small inlaid one, where that's how it popped off, you see. But look at this, it's not going anywhere, rah, you know? And then the magnetic filter then, it just pops on like this. Now, in fairness to the it's actually quite a strong magnet too, which is really, really great. But for now, I really, really like the fact that this is screwed in and nothing is coming off the front of that lens. And if I want to change filter, I can just simply change filters without having to redo the whole system. So that's 1 point to K&F. So another thing that's really, really nice about this particular set of filters, I'm going to do a bit kind of like sitting at the desk at the end of the video to talk about them a little bit more. But it's just this particular filter holder is so much nice and small. And it's very nice. And it seems like it might be waterproof. Will I toss it in and give it a test? I'm not going to do that. But it's a very nice little case. But I'm going to talk about it all at the end of the video. So bear with me while I swap cameras. And now we are shooting, which is great. Thankfully it didn't ask me to format the card, which I thought it was going to do for a minute. That would have sucked. But this video isn't about that. It's about the filters that we are putting on the front of the lens. So let's set this fella back up and let's continue shooting our abstract images. So ultimately you can see what's happening here. I hope you can. Let me zoom out a little bit. There's this nice kind of selection of rocks here in front. And look at the way the waves are rolling in and receding now in just a moment. So our hope is, and our plan is to take advantage of that motion, contrasting with the unmoving rocks in the sand. So let me set this up. It's been ages since I've used this camera. And let's see if we can set up something worthwhile here.
So as we review these two images that I have for you, I am delighted with how they turned out. One, because I absolutely adore the composition here. You've got that powerful motion as it's pouring in from the right hand side, and then the beautiful, beautiful contrast of that kind of everlasting sand, if you will. Really, really delighted. And of course that super duper glowy kind of ethereal wave as it's breaking through the center acts as such a wonderful leading line into this scattering of rocks. Now again, like the previous image, there wasn't anything too dramatic that I needed to correct at all in post-production. Super delighted with that hint of green that you can see on the right hand side, and overall super happy with how this particular one turned out. This is pretty much the same image here. This next one that we're looking at right now, it's just a slight different kind of composition, and then just a different set of parameters in terms of the shutter speed and so on. Really, really love this one though. I think I actually might prefer this one, probably because it's the 16:9 crop. You all know how much I enjoy a 16:9 crop at this stage, so I'm really, really delighted with how this particular one turned out. The motion that's in this water really, really shines through for me in this image, and I absolutely adore it for that reason.
So I find nothing more satisfying than queuing up a bit of a shot, and I love the idea that images are being captured and they're capturing so fast I can't review them on time, and I love the anticipation it gives me before when I get back to the computer. And that's one thing that I absolutely adore about Seascape photography, is that anticipation to see if any of them like really did work. Now sure, I can look back and like do a bit of a review and say, oh, that one, maybe this one. The real images don't really happen until you get a good opportunity to sift through them all in Lightroom or Bridge or whatever you use. And I really, really love that about photographing the sea like this. It's a real treat. And obviously having filters on the front of your lens really, really help kind of bring those visions to life. And actually, speaking of filters, and I'm just realizing right now that on the front of the gizmo that Senior Spielbergo is using is a K&F variable ND filter. Can you turn that? It's a little, you see it turn it? Sorry, just keep turning. So, there you go, so it's getting brighter or darker? Yeah, so turn it the other way. Senior Spielbergo, folks, is back behind the camera, and we are having a great time. Now, obviously, that particular filter came with the gizmo. What have you done? Senior Spielbergo, folks, she is back. I can't wait to review this footage. And I'm not editing any of this. So, I don't think we're going to get any kind of like any directional light, which is a shame, but no problem at all. Sometimes the kind of moodiness can add to the abstract images that we're looking to create, and I'm all for that. So it's no problem at all. There is a nice bit of a glow on the sand over here, but I really can't get over there without like getting really wet. And my gear is broken enough, folks, so I think I'll pass on that for today. But what I might do is change to my 100 to 400 just to give me an extra bit of reach, because there's a big rock out there, there's another big rock just here, and then there's also this lovely kind of outcropping rock that looks like a saw, yeah? Or a dragon's tooth. So let's pop on the 100 to 400 and see if we can like really hone into that kind of idea of abstractness. So the handy thing about the filter, screw-in filter that they sent, it fits, like I mentioned earlier, the 100 to 400 and the 28 to 75 that I have. So it's pretty easy swap over for me, which is great. So now the hunt begins. This is awesome because this is when you really feel like a sniper and you're looking for your kind of like shots to get. And it's wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. So let's get going.
So it would be remiss of me not to process one of these images in black and white. As I'm sure you all know at this stage now, I am on an adventure of black and whiteness, and I love how this particular image turned out. The silky whiteness and the deep dark blacks of those rocks really protrude for me in this image, and I absolutely adore the contrast that's in this frame. You know, images like this really kind of lend themselves well to black and white conversions because of that kind of foamy whiteness that happens in the water. And then, of course, like I mentioned, these wet, heavily saturated rocks give you a perfect opportunity to be able to play with tones and tonality as you process these images. So overall, I really, really love this particular frame here. And again, obviously it being black and white, there's no color in there, so no color cast, and overall super duper happy with how these filters held up literally and figuratively. But I really am super duper delighted with how this one turned out.
So folks, I think we are going to wrap up our shoot here. It's getting a bit cold. And no, I'm only joking. It's lovely. It's lovely. Where we live at the minute, it's 40 degrees. We had to escape to the coastline. One, to make a video, which has been wonderful, but just for our own sanity. But what we are going to do now is time warp to the tent, and I'm just going to give you the briefest of overviews of what was sent and talk about the filters just a little bit more. So stick around and we'll get back to the tent. Transition of the ages there, folks. Welcome back to the tent, folks. Now, as I alluded to earlier, I just wanted to give a very kind of short overview of what exactly was sent to me by the fine folks over at K&F. Pretty standard fare, really. 10 stop, a 3 stop, and a 6 stop, with 2 of the screw-in filter rings. One, as I mentioned, as we were looking at for my 28 to 75 and my 100 to 400, and then my wrong-sized wide-angle one. Now, but here is a nice little addition that they sent, and I wasn't expecting this now, but it is a graduated filter. Who knew? Now, I have seen these kind of popping up before, and I never got the chance to use this. I've, probably be a bit more of a kind of a grand vista kind of filter as far as I would be concerned. But I am super excited to try this little fella out, and I love the idea of having a circular graduated filter that just pops on. You know, the graduated filters that you used to get, say from Lee, is the old filter system that I used to use. It's this huge thing, and you had to be so careful with it. And it was also plastic as well, which I wasn't super duper keen on. But overall, I am very, very happy with the quality of the glass and the build quality of these little filters here. They really do feel good and sturdy, and I really, really like that about them. And like I mentioned earlier as well, the little pouch is nice too, and I like their little bit of branding. It's quite professional looking. But yeah, so as I say, I'll just keep this outro a bit short and sweet for you folks. Down below is a link. Now this is an affiliate link. I think this is my first affiliate link, so welcome. So if you're anyway inclined to perhaps check these out, if you are particularly on a budget and you need yourself a set of filters, then I would absolutely recommend these lads to you, because like I say, they're affordable, they're well built, and they, as far as I was concerned, there was no color cast issues or any of that kind of fun stuff, which I mentioned, that you guys would have been listening to classic ASMR photography lab style. So yeah, really, I would absolutely recommend them. So if you do fancy getting yourself a set, you're most welcome to use the link below. Usual crack. You don't pay any extra or any of that kind of jazz. They just send me a few pennies, and which is always a help. But for now, I am going to leave it here, folks. So if you did like the video, do please hit that like button. And if you fancy following along for more adventures like this one, you are most welcome to hit that subscribe button. But for now, I will see you all on the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Cheers.